Friends, Brian Garcia here with
Erin, Nicole, Bick, and we are
the Adventure Partners. Welcome to another beautiful day or night, depending on where you're at. Today we are going to talk about some fun stuff. How creating unlimited options in your life can take you from being a stressed out mess, a stressed out ball of, just terribleness, to having clarity, to having the ability to be, do, and have whatever you want, wherever you want, however you want. And it's absolutely crazy. So just a few of these tips today could take you from pulling your hair out and hating life to being on top of the world, flying on a high-flying disc, and being able to experience something that you never thought that you could experience before. Maybe experience something like, let's say you had dreams and you were like, oh man, that would, in only my dreams would I be able to, live this way or be this way or do whatever it is that you want to do. And only my dreams. But guess what? Your dreams can become reality if you learn how to focus what it is that you're doing and focus whatever it is that you want and start manifesting it into reality. How's this affected us? Yeah.
Well, let's just tell them a little story first.
Yeah, story time.
Story time. Actually, first I want to say hey to everyone who's jumping on. Welcome. Here's the story. So we were hanging out in Uttila, and for us, that was a good biz move. We're like, okay, we're gonna go to Uttila. We're gonna find a place that we want to stay in for an extended period of time because we're working on stuff. This is our lifestyle. We're not on vacation. So right now, when you get a business rolling and things are moving, you don't want to pump the brakes. You want to push the pedal to the metal and floor it. So we got a place in Uttila for a month. The time got cut short. Brian sold his house. Bravo.
Yay.
Wonderful.
Woo.
Which,
the kazoo goes.
woo. So this actually meant that we had to leave Uttila like a week and a half early, which wasn't in our plan.
Nope.
We thought that, we could get, or he could get a judge to sign his papers on the island, and a real estate agent on the island said it was cool. His real estate agent said it was cool. And then the kabuffle of, actually no, you have to get this done at the official U.S. embassy, and it just so happens you should go to Tegucigalpa. So we end up here early. Cool. Actually, we never even planned on coming here.
Because this isn't a destination. Like, the people who live here know that this is not a destination that people just want to go to. It's a huge city. It's a cool city. We walked miles and miles around this city. They've got some great restaurants.
Great people.
Yeah, but the locals even said, hey, this is not a tourist destination. We're not tourists. Like, we don't go on let's go on this, prearranged tour. We don't do stuff like that. Like, we do stuff with locals and stuff. We travel.
Yeah. So we didn't plan on being here that long. Turns out we're kind of brutal for doing our research in advance. Like, we kind of start doing our research a couple days before we need to leave a place, and this curveball happened, and then we end up in Tegucigalpa, and we're here, and we're just like, oh shoot, we only have 3 days booked here. So yesterday, I think it was, we started looking at Airbnbs. We were kind of like, oh, do we go to Nicaragua or do we go to El Salvador? We didn't really know. And then we're looking at flights because we're like, we don't really want to waste time on a bus. So we look at flights and they're like $500, $700 for a
45-minute flight. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Crazy town. So we were like, okay, let's just take a bus because this is ridiculous. It's 9 hours of our life, and some of the flights were like 24 plus hours. Like,
yeah.
Some of the flights were crazy. They were super expensive. They were gonna fly us like south of here, like way south of Nicaragua, take us to like Panama or take us to Costa Rica, and then they're gonna fly back up. Like, it made no sense. So we were getting slightly stressed and kind of pulling our hair out briefly.
Because we had too many options of how to get around. We had the buses. We had private car service. We had the airplanes.
Airbnbs galore.
Tons of Airbnbs. Absolutely tons.
Yeah.
And so you start pulling your hair out because you've got too many options on your hand.
Yeah. And you're also kind of thinking, okay, if we go to this specific part of Nicaragua, what is there to do here? So then you're also researching what is there to do, where do we stay, how do we get there? And this is kind of like an ongoing thing. So we took a step back. And we were like, hey, we should be grateful. We have so many options.
Yeah.
That's one.
That's
number one. Just to be grateful that we can even do this. Actually, that's two. To be grateful we can even do this. That's number two. And I think that number three was once we actually started getting organized. We're organized now up for like, I guess 2 or 3 more weeks. We're organized now. And that felt really good, and we were able to focus on stuff. Like, I pumped out a blog post today. That felt really good. I felt like before that, I couldn't really focus because we had so many things going on in our head with our course that we're building and a workshop that we just did and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So
with options, you got to think about this on another level also. Let's say you go to a restaurant and you've got pages and pages of menu items, all these different options and combinations. What happens is you start getting like inundated with too many options, and you start feeling stressed out with something as simple as, oh, I'm going to go to this restaurant and eat something, and then all of a sudden you've got so many options and you're just pulling your hair out. Now, if you go to, it's great to have a lot of options, but when you are focused, as soon as you get focused on what is your goal, what are you wanting to accomplish, and what is the overall overreaching idea behind whatever it is that you're doing, and you focus that in and get laser targeted, at that point the more options you have, the better, because they actually give you more routes on your path to go. And so the more options you have, you can now have all this creativity because you've got your path, you've got your goal, you've got exactly your vision, you've got your passion that you're working on, and now you're able to actually pull up all this information and be able to say, you know what? I'm grateful that I have all these options, that I created all these options, because it's the things that you do in your life that create the options. If you limit yourself and put yourself in a box, or if you let society put yourself into a box and you're like, oh, I don't have options, I got to stay right here in this box, then you'll pull more hair out that way than if you've got millions of options. And the reason for that is because now you've got millions of options. Let's get super focused. Let's get to start doing exactly whatever it is that you're wanting to do it. Hey, what's up, Daniel? He says, how long did you guys work on your business before become official digital nomads, and how did you stabilize a stable income to fund your travels?
Ooh, good question.
Daniel, it is cheaper to live in another country than in the great old United States, because I know that you're in the U.S. Because we've been chatting. I've been in business since 2012. And haven't really had a ton of success until November of 2015, whenever I learned online marketing. I started actually getting on the coursework, and that's happened with you too. Yeah,
same flow. I started my business. What year was that? I guess I've been in business for like 3 years now. So I probably was it finally clicked for me. I started to learn how to market myself like a professional, and when everything started moving and clicking and I started making an income, because I wasn't making an income before that. So
yeah. And so what happens with that is like, so you've got an idea of what it is that you want to create. So for instance, Daniel's been talking about,
yeah,
boom, we're back. All right.
I wonder if they heard us.
So,
Thanks for holding on, guys.
Yeah, we had hold music going. The Wi-Fi is shaky here, so I just turned off the Wi-Fi and went to cellular. The data is claro que sí.
It's good.
Yeah, it's pretty good data. But you got to pay for data, and we're on Wi-Fi, so let's do the Wi-Fi thing.
And data's cheap.
And so what happens is you've got an idea of what it is that you want to create, and so once you have this idea and you start building it out, then you have to start building your brand face and actually driving people to you.
Mm-hmm.
And so that gives you options for if you want to, like, let's say you want to offer a service, like let's say graphic design or web design or something like that,
mm-hmm.
then you can start, choosing your clients and figuring out how many you want to take on and everything. But
mm-hmm.
in order to drive that traffic, you have to learn how to market yourself. It doesn't matter if you have a website. Like if you understand what websites do and how they tie in with social media and all that, you start creating more options for yourself because you've got the
eyeballs.
You've got more eyeballs on your content.
You need eyeballs on your content.
You've got to have eyeballs on your content. But the way to drive that is to learn the marketing side of it. Learn how to develop a brand. Learn how to market to your target audience of people who are actually going to use your products or your services, depending on which way you go. Because you could go the service route, or you can also go the products route if you do like e-com and stuff like that, or digital products like we do.
Joseph's asking, he said, so it took a lot of time to build it. Okay, so here's the truth and the reality. For me, I didn't know what I was doing 3 years ago, had no clue. I think it was about 2 full years past where I didn't really do that well. And a year and a half ago, so it probably took me 6 months to figure out the marketing portion, to learn, to start to develop my brand and where I was going with it. And then it started to click. So 6 months for a business to start to click and start to move and start to gain momentum, followers, people commenting, people asking me questions. Like, people were reaching out to me from all over the world, commenting on my blog post, being like, wow, or my videos and being like, wow, what you said really touched me and changed my life. Joseph, how long have we been friends? You met me because I was marketing myself, and now we're buddies. So it's pretty cool. Once you learn to market yourself, you start to meet and build relationships with people all over the world. Whether
it opens doors.
It opens doors. So whether those people partner with you in business, buy your services or products, or just become your friends, you become a trusted source to them when you put yourself out there, because those people will refer you to friends even if they're not specifically interested in what it is you have to offer.
But the more powerful part of it is learning how to create more options for you, is learning the marketing side of it, because your friends and family and acquaintances is not going to be what builds your business. It's going to be the thousands of people that have eyeballs on you. Like, for instance, in the last 5 days, we've had about 250 new Facebook fans, go and like the Be Adventure Partners page. And this is consistent. We get in between 100, 300 per week, depending on the week. And this is consistent. Brand new people who are looking to either start a business of their own, wanting to travel all over the place like it is what we do, and just create the options that they want in their life, because they're tired of being in the box that they're in.
And people reaching out to us all the time who are like, hey, you guys seem to know what you're doing. How can I do that too?
Daniel says, are we going to eventually settle down somewhere? What does settle down mean exactly? So, eventually...
I will never settle.
I'm not settling for nothing, brother. Eventually, we're going to have what we're going to call our home base. And essentially, it's our hub where we'll have like our tree house or our cool house of some kind. Yeah. And it'll be where we have our adventure gear. Because here's the thing, when you go traveling, when you've got your business and you can work from your laptop and all of that, you've got to have a home base because you've got all these different adventure gears that you're going to start accumulating over time, like different outfits. For instance, we're in hot climate right now, so we don't wear many clothes. So we wear very few threads. Now, if we head up to the mountains where there's snow, we're going to have a completely different wardrobe. So, a lot of these, wardrobes like snow pants and like snow shoes and stuff like that, those are investments. You got to invest in quality gear so that you've got a good time. So it makes sense to have a home base where you can store all that stuff and you can switch out your gear to decide where you're going to next and make tracks. But all of that happens because you start developing options in your life. You start creating this bubble of what comes to be reality for you, and the bubble is over the whole world instead of over the little bitty area of where you are. So we got a new friend on here, Scott. What's up, brother?
I have one thing I want to add to what you were saying, and then we're gonna come back to your question for sure, Scott. And actually, this goes with what I was going to say. So he says, what's your overall goal and how do you want to accomplish it? I'm going to get back to that and I'm going to tie this all up in a bow. So we were talking about having all these choices and
creating them
and creating all these choices and kind of being a little frustrated and being like, I don't know what to choose, and having this moment of, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? He says there's no sound. Can someone else let me know if you guys can hear us? I turned the volume down on mine.
All right, I'll check it.
Let us know. Somebody else send us a message and let us know if you can still hear us.
Keep going.
Okay. So, hold on. Is it good?
Here, let me refresh the page.
Okay. So, okay.
Daniel can.
Cool.
Okay, so
we're still going. So,
refresh the page or something.
Yeah, just refresh your page. Yeah. Thank you, Jessica and Daniel. Okay, so
it is fine. Okay, cool.
Okay, cool.
That's
cool.
Good.
Thanks, guys. Okay, so having all these options and stuff, and trying to figure out what it is that you want to do. The key is want. What are your wants? What are your needs? As we travel, we go to all these different places. We've been to tons of Airbnbs now. We're in people's homes. We rented an apartment. We've been in tons and tons of different spaces. So now we're starting to get a clear vision of what we want. While we were eating dinner tonight, we're looking around and we're like, wow, this place is cool. One, there's no bugs eating us alive.
Nope, none.
Bueno! Two.
We have been the feeding trough for mosquitoes and no-see-ums for the past 2 months, and we're just now getting healed up from that. It feels great.
It feels really nice to not be like itching your skin before bed. So one, we're not a feeding trough for insects. We like that. Two, this place is really clean. It's really clean. Like we've stayed in places that haven't been perfect, which is okay because we stayed there for the vibe. But we're starting to know what we want, and that's the key, is to pinpoint those things. And the cool thing is
clarity of vision.
Clarity of vision. You get clear on your vision, crystal clear, like our friend Ray Tarley says. You start to get more clear on your vision. And the cool thing is, Daniel asked us about, are we going to settle down? Are we going to have a home base? All that. Yeah, we've been, since we met each other, talking about this perfect, not perfect, it's perfect to us.
Oh, it's perfect for us.
It's perfect for us.
Yeah.
This tree home that we want to live in. We talk about it every night. When we were 5,550 5 miles apart from each other on Zoom calls, looking at each other over a screen. We were talking before bed about our vision and saying, hey, I'll meet you there. I'll meet you in this specific room, on this swing. I'll meet you out on a boat in the ocean in front of it, or on the beach in front of it. Whatever. We know exactly what it is that we want because we've been dreaming about it. We've been manifesting it, drawing it. You know, you got to get your vision so clear in your head that it's all you can think about. And when you lose track of that, you have to take a moment for yourself to think about it. That's why we meditate. That's why we journal, why we write. It helps us find clarity. So, Scott, when you asked, what did he ask again? What's your overall goal and how do you want to accomplish it? When it comes to where we're going in our vision, our home, all that, we got that down pat. When it comes to our business, we're starting to get a really clear vision of that too. As we work with different people, we find, you know, new people to work with. We start discovering our skills and where we want to take our business. The vision gets more and more clear all the time. And I think the number one driving force behind our business is we want to help people live a life that they never have to take a vacation from. And to us, that's building something that you're super passionate about.
Yeah, for sure. And so something about that though is and the key word that Erin was just talking about was vision. Yeah. If you don't have vision, if you don't have sight on where it is that you want to go, then creating the options for you, you're not going to have the options. It's kind of like this. If you aim at nothing, you're going to hit it every single time.
That's true.
And I forget who said that. It was
Jim Rohn?
Might have been Jim Rohn or Zig.
Zig.
It might have been
One
Zig.
of the two. It's a good quote.
Yeah. But if you aim at nothing, you're going to hit it every single time, no matter what you do, because it's nothing. You're going for nothing. You know, you're going to accomplish that. Now, if you have a vision and you're all like, okay, this is the way I see life. This is the way I see where I'm going to live. This is what it's going to smell like, what it's going to taste like, what it's going to look like. This is the texture that's on the walls. The ceiling's not going to have popcorn on it. Like, I mean, think about, you know, fine details like that, because it's those details that you continue to manifest, that continue to build up, that continue to start building the options. And as your vision is so bright and so clear, and as you are implementing what you learn along the way, and not just sitting on the sideline, because and here's the key point, sitting on the sideline. And the reason why I say that is because there's people who will watch you and continue to watch you and continue to watch you as you're building whatever it is that you want to build. And they're thinking to themselves, they're all like, oh, I want to build something for myself, but I want to see how you do first and see how successful you got first. And meanwhile, we're in it. We're doing the thing. We're building our business. We're building what it is that we want to accomplish in our life. And then later on, a couple of years down the road, these people come up to you and say, hey, so you started doing this thing. You quit your jobs. You know, Brian, you were a firefighter for 9 years. And you quit your job. Erin, you were a hairstylist for 11 years. You quit your job, and you went to travel the world. You know, I've been watching you for a few years, and I totally want to, you know, achieve that. What do I need to do? The answer is stop sitting on the sideline. There's a note on the wall here that says, stop waiting for things to happen. Go out and make them happen. And so, Daniel, you were asking about, hey, can you travel the world by working at temporary jobs that wouldn't make as much as you would online? Sure, you could.
You could.
Hey, bud.
You do whatever you want.
Absolutely.
You can do whatever you want.
There's also resources out there. Like, let's say you want to do the freelance thing, because you were talking about possibly learning web development and graphic design and all these other things in a previous conversation. There's Upwork, there's freelancer.com, there's all these places that you can actually put your profile up there and start getting little small jobs, start building your portfolio for people who need smaller tasks done, and they give you good reviews, and then you start getting the bigger tasks. So if you want to do the freelance thing, you can totally do that.
Could.
Focus on your passion. If you hate web design, don't go out and learn web design. If you love graphic design, learn some graphic design programs, because that's going to give you options for people that you can help. Graphic design, you can work on web page layouts, not coding the web page or not putting the web page together like in WordPress, but you can actually, put all the little components, all the imagery together. With graphic design also, you can do things for people like print. So if someone needs like a realtor needs flyers for houses and stuff, you can do the layouts, you can do logos and all sorts of things. It just depends on what you have passion for and if it's something that you want to continue going towards, because that's going to create the options for you. Now, if you do the freelancer thing for a little while, on like one of those sites, there's hundreds of sites out. Those are just a couple of the very top sites that very successful people use for building their business. Now, if you get some skills under your belt, start having tons of clients, start building all your portfolio and everything, then even this whole time, start building out your brand, who it is that you are, what is it that you offer, because you can have your own brand, your own website out there as you're getting clients, and you can start driving traffic to them, and that's how you build yourself up. It doesn't matter where you're at in life right now. The only thing that matters is that you took action today and you stopped being a little bitch and sitting on the damn sideline. And it literally comes down to that. And I'm sorry I'm a little frank with everybody about this, but seriously, the people that sit there and just look at everybody else saying, oh my gosh, look how successful they are. They're the ones who aren't getting ahead. It's the ones who are actually, like the wall says over here, stop waiting for things to happen. Go out and make them happen. It's the people who actually do. It's the people who actually take control of what it is that they want to accomplish. And once you have the vision, you now have a path that you can start following, because that's how it's all built out. Yeah. Seriously.
No, for sure.
It's seriously that simple.
Yep. I'm reading this book called The 10X Rule. Everybody's ranting and raving about this book. Grant Cardone was like, okay, I gotta check it out. He actually took out the title of the one chapter that was called Stop Being a Little Bitch, but then I was listening to the Audible and he brought it up and he was like, yeah, I had to call this chapter Stop Being a Little Bitch. Because
that's where I got that from.
Because he identified with that.
Yeah.
He remembered a time in his life where he was sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Where he wasn't getting the results that he wanted.
Yeah.
I've been there.
I've been there.
Brian's been a little bitch. Yeah. So have I. When you're
ain't no little bitch no more.
You're crying about something like, oh, this isn't going my way. I just want this to work. Or why me? When you're going through those why me moments,
pull your pants up.
You can pull your pants up. Yeah, go for it. But something you gotta, in those moments, you don't have to be a hard ass on yourself. At some point, you're gonna, if this, weak moment lasts for so long, you might have to give yourself a shake and be like, stop being a little bitch. But prior to that, while you're crying about it, while you're having such a hard time about it, pull out a journal. Pull out a journal and start writing. Just start writing and writing and writing and start figuring out what it is that you want. Because in those moments, those are the moments that you find clarity. Those are the moments where you are able to pull yourself out of it, because that's when the vision gets more clear. If you didn't fall into the shit, and you didn't have these moments where you're questioning yourself and having these moments where you're like, oh, why isn't this working? You wouldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. It wouldn't happen. If everything was sunshine and lollipops all the time, you would never have a moment to be like, oh, I wish I could do that, or I wish I could become that. It's all about becoming more. It's all about evolving the vision so that you can get the thing that you want. So when there's a whole bunch of options in front of you and you're kind of like, oh my God, which way do I go? I don't know what to do. Because of that clarity that you got in that moment when you were being a little bitch, because of that moment, you now have a path that starts lighting up for you because you know what you're wanting.
Yeah, and on that path, there's like little side paths that you're going to see all along the way. All of those are options. Is every single one of them one that you need to take? Hell no. Absolutely not. And the reason why I say that is because people bombard both of us with messages all the time, like prospecting and pitching, because they're all like, oh my gosh, look at these guys. They're able to like achieve all this stuff and be able to like, you know, get to where they want to be. I want them to be on my team. And so, but because our vision is so focused and because passion for what we're doing is so focused, we don't jump on board every shiny shiny object that comes our way. Because here's the thing, if you're constantly jumping from one shiny object to the next, you're never going to achieve what it is that you've got a vision for, because you've got all these shiny objects, but you have to have such firm passion and such firm vision in what you're wanting to achieve. And that's what's going to give you the ultimate options in life, because it's not that you start a business and then 30 days later you're all like, hell yeah, I fired my boss. Good for you if you did that.
It's probably not a sustainable business you've built if you grew it that quick.
It may. It may not. You don't know. But here's the thing. It's all about staying the course. So if you were able to build it in 30 days and keep it, you know, going solid, more power to you. Fire your boss and get on the road, build the life of your dreams, accomplish your vision. And here's the thing. You should never ever completely accomplish your vision, because as you start getting close to that vision being accomplished, guess what? The universe starts dealing you more and saying, hey, there's still room to grow. There's still more that you could accomplish. There's still more value that you can put out there. There's still more people that you can help.
More you can learn.
More you can learn. All sorts of cool stuff. And so if you ever arrive at your vision, you're like, yes, I made it. You better get back to work, because that's about to go. It's about to tank on you. Yeah. And so stay freaking solid, because that's going to give you so many more options along the way that you could build off of.
Yeah. I do want to say something about shiny object syndrome, because it's something we've both dealt with and we've both been through. And the only reason we can say you got to stay, you know, focused and committed to your vision is because we've both been in a place where we have not even known what our vision was. Like, I know that when I got out of high school, I was like, oh shit, I guess I got to pick something that I want to do. So right away, I went to school for interior design. I was in that for half a semester. I was hitting the bong real hard and drinking a bunch and hardly even showing up for class. Showing up to class super stoned. And the only classes I really showed up to were the creative ones where I got to sketch and draw. And then in the second semester, I was like, oh, well, I guess I better stay here. My parents are going to kill me because I pretty much flunked out of interior design. So then I went to culinary management. The story didn't change. I didn't know what I wanted. So I would, again, hit the bong, go to baking class, go eat some baked goods, and then on to mixology, where we would drink some drinks and learn how to bartend. I didn't know what the hell I wanted. So after I failed out of my second semester at college, my parents were like, they were really cool about it, because I had a really, like, a crazy time, and I was dating somebody nuts, and, like, life was wild for me. And I was like, okay, I flunked. I told them I failed, and they were like, okay, Erin, you should come home. Like, maybe just come home, go do the culinary thing, like, get a job in a restaurant, see if you like it. So I tried that. I did that for a little while. And guess what? It wasn't for me. I just kept drinking, kept like being a party animal, and then I decided to go to hair school. That lasted for a while. that did last for a while. I did hair school. I was a professional hairstylist for 11 years. I grew up in a hair salon. My mom was a hairstylist though. So I had just been in the industry so much and I wanted something more. And even when I found something that I wanted and the direction I wanted to go as an entrepreneur, even that was up and down. And, you know, looking for new things, grabbing at shiny objects, different business opportunities, and all of that along the way. So it's not going to be perfect. You have to be gentle with yourself. If you don't try a bunch of things, just like dating, if you don't experience different people, if you don't try different foods, how the fuck are you supposed to know what you want?
Seriously.
So you gotta, jump at shiny objects every once in a while, but in those moments when you fall and that thing is not what you expected it to be, consider why not? Ask yourself, what about this did I not like? What about this did I love? And keep searching for the thing that you'll love. You're gonna find it. But that comes from your values and what it is you want to accomplish in your life, what's important to you. So,
yeah, that's
problem, Daniel.
Sure thing, Daniel. You're freaking awesome, dude.
Yeah, man.
For sure.
Yeah, like when you're young, you've got to trial and error stuff. When you're old, you trial and error stuff. We trial and error stuff in our business all the time. That's how we're making it work.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's those things that you test, and as you're testing, if something doesn't work, they call that a failure. I like to call it a learning point because you've documented what it is that you're doing, and you're like, okay, let's see how this sort of ad type or this sort of image, this sort of video works with this sort of audience, and let's see how that goes. And so we're constantly like tweaking and dialing in what it is that the audience loves seeing, what they don't love seeing, having a lot of contrast there. So all of these failures aren't failures, they're learning points. They show you, okay, this doesn't work for this type of audience. Let's tweak it and push it back out there and see what happens. Like tweak the text on it, tweak the image, tweak the video, do something different, and then run that and see how that goes. So it's all about evolving. It's all about connecting all the dots, because that's going to give you options for how you start running things. Because once you dial it in and figure out, oh, my audience loves pictures more than videos. Like I get tons of, reactions to pictures, not very many reactions to videos.
Or vice versa.
Or vice versa, or to text posts, or to whatever. So as you're testing and as you're looking at all your different options, you've got to be the maestro of it, coordinating how they all come together and how they all fit, because it's those failures along the way that are going to show you and make more defined the path of how it all like streams together. And it's a beautiful thing. Once you start finding that honey hole, finding that little spot where it's like, oh my gosh, we're getting tons of reactions, we're getting tons of freaking traffic. Let's hit hard on this little section, and that's what we're going towards. So a lot of you have been messaging us, like private messaging, asking about a lot of different things, blog related. We've had a lot of different things, video related also, like different platforms that we're using. And also, a lot of you are talking about the online workshop and how it's been helping you, and how it's like that online workshop has just opened your mind to the possibilities of what could actually be for you. And so we're running that for just a short amount of time, not too long. But that was created, that workshop, because of your questions. And one of the main questions was, we don't understand how the whole website thing works so that you can actually build a profitable business. And so we dive into that and talk about the different ways that you can use your website so that you can be profitable with what you're doing. And then once you get the website and social media all set up, like, okay, so what's next? How do you drive the traffic? And so we show you the resources to use so that you can learn how to drive the traffic. It's all in your audience selection. It's all in who it is that you want to get in front of. But if you don't learn that piece, then you can build a website, you can build social media and have them connected. But if you don't learn the marketing side of it, then that's the fuel for the machine that you built. The machine is the website. The machine is the social media business page that you've connected. And the fuel is knowing how to market yourself. And so we dive into that into the workshop as well. So if you haven't already, definitely jump on that workshop. Find a time that is good for you. The link is in the post.
Darn tootin'.
Yeah.
And one more thing I wanted to say about that is, the cool thing is, once you learn how to market yourself, your brand, what it is that you want and what you're passionate about, you could build anything.
Yeah.
Anything that you are passionate about. So if you can start to really hunker down and be like, hey, what is it that I'm passionate about? What could I talk about all day? Those are the types of things you need to know. Those are the types of things that we can help you sort out. If you're like, I just don't really get how to make money from that, we can help you sort that out. What I would recommend first is that you check out the workshop that we did, because it'll give you a lot of clarity, and then we can go deeper with you and be on the same page with you and really dive into it. So,
and what's cool about being on the workshop also is everyone who has registered, they're the first ones who get to know when we release more workshops that we do online, because we're going to start diving into the mechanics of how it all fits together and very, very specific topics along the way, as well as you're going to be the first ones to know when the course that we're putting together, this mega ultimate course that we're putting together, you're going to be the first ones to know when it actually is launched. And we're going to have a really cool program set up for each and every one of you that you can take advantage of. So I'm not going to spill the beans on that part or the course, what it's called or anything, but we've taken everything that you've been asking, and we're putting together this thing, this course that is second.
Cool.
It's really cool.
It's really cool. Also, if you want insider information, you can go to our website and jump on our newsletter. Make sure you jump on the newsletter. We share with our tribe members, the latest and greatest, what we're working on, and like Brian said, the cool new stuff we're coming out with.
What's cool is all the stuff that we release to you on the newsletter. All of that is something that you can use right away. All that information that we pump out to you, once or twice a week. We don't email out every single day. Sometimes it's 3 or 4 times a week, but when we do email, it's like, I just got an email from Be Adventure Partners. I should probably take a look at what they put in it, because it's probably going to help me in some way, and it's probably something that I can take and use right now, implement, and see results in whatever it is that we were talking about.
Darn tootin'.
Yeah.
So, click on the link in the post. Jump on that workshop. If you got questions, shoot them our way. We love making global friends and connecting with you guys. So, until next time, friends.
Adventure on.
Adventure on.
Have a good night and
Lots
day.
of love. Thanks for everyone who jumped on and who's watching the replay.